my top 5 reasons why to get YZ125X. Hey, what's up guys? Rado here with Dirt and Iron, and yes, today I want to talk about the top 5 reasons what I think is the best about this bike. This is 2020 YZ125X, which is your off-road race bike. This is the smallest two-stroke off-road race bike that is on the market. KTM is also making 125s, probably Husky too, but this is the same category, 125. It doesn't come with electric start. It has a Kickstarter and a couple other goodies, but it's quite a good machine for your off-road and also for the motocross. So there is these 5 reasons I want to talk about today, what I would say was the most surprising and also the top and the most important for myself. So number 1, definitely, which I did not expect at all, and number 1 reason would be a fun factor. This thing is so much fun, you guys. you have to try to believe it. You know, when I first got it, I had no idea how much fun I would have on this bike. I didn't really know that keeping this 125 pin wide open on the track and learning, you know, how to hit those corners and clutch it, you know, and come out screaming out of the corners and just be a little bit more flowy and keep this bike where it's happy. It is just so much fun. You know, in last year, in 2020 and 2021 up to today, I think I've ridden and tested around 20 to 25 different bikes, European, American, not American bikes, Europeans and Japanese bikes, and 2-strokes, 4-strokes, different size engines. But honestly, this one right here is the one that I had the most fun on. It's really a fun bike. Let me share some clip with you. You see, I have 250 FX there in the back. It's also a good bike, and I came here today and I wanted to ride both bikes, but I ended up not even unloading that bike. I spent an entire day on the 125X. It was so much fun, my goodness, so much blast. It was amazing. Like, hey, I was enjoying this 125 a lot. It's been a long time since I had this much fun on the bike, on the track. You know, usually I ride 254 strokes here, and I love it. It's great. But this time I'm trying something new, and there is this learning curve. In the beginning I was a little bit slower, and then I'm getting into it. I'm getting into the groove. I'm using this power band the bike has, and I'm just enjoying it so much. And this bike is amazing. So reason number 2, this is a Yamaha, and if you guys are a little bit familiar with the dirt bikes and the market we have here in USA, KYB forks on these Yamahas. This is the best stock suspension you can get for your money out of the showroom floor. Period. This bike feels amazing. You don't need to spend any money. You don't need to really spend any money if you are somewhat average rider. I'm a 195, 190, depends how I feel, and I can take this thing on the wet track, not on the main. I don't really ride main tracks, on the wet tracks, but we also have some big jumps there. We can also case stuff over there. We can also, you know, overshoot some jumps and land flat. So I can take it over there with my almost 200 pounds, and I can jump everything, I can land everything, and I can feel comfortable. I'm not feeling like I'm pushing this thing to its limits. So it handles my body weight, no problem, my speed, no problem. And then I can take the same bike, the same suspension on the trails. I can be flowy on this little bit, you know, flowy trails, or I can be on a little bit more technical, rocky stuff. And this thing just kind of floats on the top of everything. So it's really surprising, and I really love that the feeling that I had on the trails. It felt like a mountain bike, and the suspension just copied the terrain really nicely, and I felt like I'm just floating on the top of all these bumps. You know, I know those trails. I ride those trails on many other bikes, and when I took this 125 there, it felt really good. In my hands were super light, floating on the top of it, and then the same suspension without any changes at all. take it on my wet track and jump everything we have there, those step downs and doubles and tables and all that, and did my usual speed, what I usually do on the wet track, and this thing handles everything no problem. So suspension on these guys is just incredible. Really great package. Reason number 3, you can take this bike out of the showroom floor without doing anything to it, and you can ride motocross, and you can be on it. If you're a wet guy, we are talking about the wet guys, okay, like myself, you can be on it on the wet track all day long, and the next day you can take the same exact bike to your trails and you can have fun, you can ride. You are not missing on any performance or anything that you would think, oh yeah, this is a motocross bike that I'm riding here on the trails. You know, sometimes when you take this straight motocross bike on the trails, you feel that it's not where it's supposed to be. But honestly, this thing is really like in the middle, so it feels good on the motocross track. If you keep it pinned and, you know, clutch it where you're supposed to clutch it, like when you have the fun factor there, then you can have it on the motocross track and having all the fun you want, then taking the same bike on the trails, and you can do pretty much the same thing. The suspension is good. I really didn't play with the clickers even, you know. I just took the bike and I went on the trails. Now, one thing I would mention is that maybe in a stock form, that bottom power is not ideal for the trail. So play with the carburetor. I went with keying, I put a different jetting in there, I tried stick, but I'm pretty sure you can also achieve this with just keying with JD jetting, or you can maybe try Electron, you can try Smart Carb. There are different things you can try on these bikes. You can maybe even try the stock carburetor, fix it up with JD jetting, and it will have a little better power from the bottom. So there are many different options. Once you have this bike running a little bit better from the bottom, and you can also cut head, you know, to get a little better compression, you can play with it, and it's so easy to work on these bikes. So once you get a little better power from the bottom, plus this X has a different power valve, has a different CDI, so the power curve actually goes up in the low RPM, is good bottom, and there is not a huge hit like you have on a normal YZ. So there is quite a difference between the power delivery between YZ straight motocross bike and the YZX. So the YZX definitely works better on your trails, but at the same time it's still enough and it's still a lot of fun on the track. So if I'm going to buy a brand new YZ, I think I will go and buy YZX, because I just like to have this bike that can do it all. The transmission is exactly the same, it just the power delivery is a little bit different. So again, this bike is good for motocross and also for your trails. Now if you ride mostly trails and throw more pieces on this thing, you know, some kind of protection, pipe, and you know, your shark fins and ramp around handguards and all kinds of stuff, you can do that big tank. Actually, I did a test and this bike did around 50 miles, I think, in my last video on the tank on the trails, which is pretty good for this kind of small engine. So good bike that can really you know, put smile on your face on the trails and also on the track. Reason number 4, and I think this is a huge one, this blue thing will make you better rider. At least that's what happened to me, because when you ride this thing, when you are on the track, where you are on the trails, there is pretty much no time for you to rest. And this thing is not very forgiving. If you are not committed, if you are not in the right gear, if you are not in the right RPM, if you don't clutch it correctly, you will know it right away. It's not like on some other bikes on 350s or 450s, like you can be in the wrong gear, just go on the throttle and you can just rock the jump and clear everything. You don't have any problem there. But this bike right here can do it all if you are ready for it. The bike is ready for it if you are ready for it. So that's what I learned on 125. To be able to really flow well on the wet track that I have here at Kauia, it took a few trips there to get in the groove with the bike, to be gelling with the bike. You know, I still not gel 100%, but I gel to the point that I do have a lot of fun, and I can clutch it most of the time where I'm supposed to. I'm just kind of learning this 125, learning this two-stroke. So as I'm learning that, I am becoming a better rider, because I am coming faster into the turns, I keep more momentum, I'm paying attention to be in the right gear, I'm paying attention more into the line selection, so I'm trying to to gain more speed in the turns, and then learning all that on 125. Then I just take these skills and I transfer that to different bikes I ride, and right away I noticed, and even you guys in the video, you commented and you told me that I look better on the bike, and I think that's mainly because I was riding quite a bit of this 125, and even on my turn tracks, when I have these little turns, like a single rut on this bike, also I couldn't go more than 10 minutes because I was really focused, and I was just really with the bike, and I got tired real quickly. So it wore me out real fast, but at the same time it helped me to really stay focused and to really do the best I can on a bike. So definitely this 125X is going to make you a better rider. You just need to push it and try to get everything out of this bike. Reason number 5, and that's the value of this bike. Right now these bikes are selling brand new. MSRP on these bikes is $6,699, which is $1,100 less than European 125X bikes. So the value of the brand new bike, you're actually not paying that much money for this bike. You can get it out of the door. I'm not sure, you got to work it out with your dealer, but MSRP is $6,699, which is incredible price. I think that's pretty good. And then it just keeps value. Even though it's like year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years old, these bikes stay up there. You can still get 5,000, 6,000 for a used 125 in a good condition. Just go and check Craigslist or OfferUp or Marketplace and find the 125s 2015, 2017, 2018. They are all about $4,000 or $5,000 or even $6,000. So these bikes really keep value, and especially 125X, which is I think a little different than just a straight 125, will keep value for a longer time. I think if you pick one up brand new and you decide in 2-3 years to sell it and buy something else, you're not gonna lose a lot of money on it. I think you will get a really good use for maybe that $1,000 that you lose on the new bike, or maybe $2,000, but definitely keeps value really well, because these bikes are not really changing a lot, right? So you don't have a new generation, and that's why the old generation lost value significantly. This generation is the same for a long time, which is I don't know if it's the best thing, but it is what it is, and that's why these bikes keep value quite well, even though they are like 3 or 4 years old. All right, my friends, so this is my 5 reasons why I think it's good to get this bike. And I have this bike now for almost a year, and I have to tell you, I had a really good time on this bike, everywhere, on the track, on the trails, playing with it. My friend actually, the suspension was done by Schmidt, because my friend, 230 pounds, was racing this bike at the Glen Helen 2-stroke race a few months ago, and he did okay. Just need to go with a little bit stiffer suspension, because he was a little bit heavier, 230 or 235. But for average guy, all the way from 150 to like 200, I think you would be really okay with a stack everything on this bike. Just play maybe with the carburetor, get a little more power, do different tires if you want to, and you have a good bike for track and also for the trails. If you guys have this bike, or if you think about getting it, if you have any question or if you have any comment, leave it below, and don't forget, whatever you do, stay motivated. See you guys later.